Welcome back to my channel, or to my channel if you are new here. My name is Haley. I make videos about books and talking about books, and I love books and I read books, and it's a good time when I talk about books. It's my passion. So with that being said, we are on vlog 3 of my advent calendar, choosing my books that I read, and this is the last video for this series. So you can watch this or you can go to the beginning, it doesn't really matter. We're here. So I have day 17 right here, and I honestly just woke up not too long ago, but I need a book to read. I want to read, and I need to know what I'm reading. And like always, you will see it first. What does she say? Read a book that has been on your Goodreads TBR the longest. The book that I ended up choosing for this prompt is The Couple Next Door. I'm currently 31% through, and I added this to my Goodreads TBR in 2018, which is when I created my account. So it's one of the oldest books on there. The Couple Next Door is following a couple who one night go over to their neighbor's for a dinner party, and basically they leave their baby next door and come and check on her in 30-minute increments throughout the night. And then when they finally decide to come home that night, their baby isn't there, and that's like the beginning of the book. We're just following these characters as they're trying to figure out what happened to their kid. The narration of this is very much just you're in all of these different characters' heads and you're trying to figure out what's happening along with them, and you really don't know nothing. I'm assuming that it has something to do with the couple next door, but I could be completely wrong in that being the thing. I don't know why it's called The Couple Next Door yet. I don't know if it's referring to the couple that was having the party or the couple that have the kid. And so we're really not sure. I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, I'm 31% through, and it's really just grabbed my attention. I want to know what's going on. I am intrigued to figure out what's happening. And this is like a 9-hour long audiobook, and even though I listen to it on 2x speed, I would typically still take about 2 days to read this, but I honestly could see myself finishing this tonight because I'm hooked. I am glad though that I have waited until now to read this book instead of reading it in 2018. In 2018 I was 16 and I'm now 22, and when I was 16 I was reading a lot of YA. I was really just getting back into reading after not reading for quite a few years, and I was reading a lot of YA and stuff during that time, and I don't think that I would have loved this as much as I am now that I'm 22. Today is day 18, and I think that I am finally over this challenge. I just want to read whatever, and I can't. But also, like, I don't know what I want to read, and so I don't know. I'm just feeling really funny about reading right now. We're almost done, so I'm just gonna finish it out. So let's talk about The Couple Next Door. I stayed up last night to finish this because I was intrigued. I wanted to know what was happening. First and foremost, this book is interesting. I didn't particularly love the ending. The baby that went missing, she's gonna have some problems when she's older because her parents are absolutely bonkers. That was kind of a spoiler, so oops. I really did enjoy this book. I think I'd give it like a 4-star. I was intrigued. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. There is a lot going on. The other book that I read from this author, what is it called? The Stranger Next Door, I think is what it's called. I own it. Do I know where it's at? No. But I didn't particularly love that. And I don't even remember like the ending, but I do remember being on the edge of my seat the entire time, and I'm like, what's happening? like get to the twist. So I did really enjoy The Couple Next Door a little bit more out of her 2 books that I've read. And I was going through Goodreads and I have so many of her books on my TBR, so I'll get to them eventually. With that being said, we're on day 18. I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what I'm reading because I want to read. I just need to know. So, yeah. Oh, I think I know what this one is. Oh my god, thank God. Okay. I only know what this one is because I was like, it took up like half the sticky note. So, this says you choose, and it has 3 different books. So I can either choose What Kind of Mother, Dipped in Holly, or The Visitor. So What Kind of Mother, it's not a Christmas book at all. It's a horror. And then Dipped in Holly is like a romance. I don't think I'm going to choose that one. And then The Visitor is also a horror, but it's a Christmas horror. So I have to decide which one I want to actually read right now. And it's between What Kind of Mother and The Visitor. I have What Kind of Mother on my Libby shelf right now because, and that's the reason why it's on here, is because I've been wanting to read it and I could just pick that up. Let's talk about The Visitor. This is such a fun little horror novella. It's not much at all. It goes sci-fi. The writing is very simplistic, which I kind of appreciate because we're not bouncing around trying to fit everything in. It's very much straightforward, which I think I prefer in novellas. I am still trying to figure out what I like in a novella, and I don't know if that is it or not, but I did really enjoy it. I wasn't really expecting it to take a sci-fi twist. I didn't read too much about this book. If I had, I probably would have figured that out. I do think that the characters in this kind of fell flat, which is understandable because you don't have a lot of time to develop these characters. They each kind of had like 1 or 2 traits that you were informed about, but besides that, there really wasn't nothing, and those traits were really used to further the story more than anything. Like, one of the characters had a dog, and so you were updated about this dog, and then the dog was actually like a pretty prevalent part of the story. And then there's a character who he's just trying to like make it home to his family for the rest of Christmas. So you have like that little part. Then there's a couple who owns a cabin, and so it's really just these small things that ended up being important to the story. But besides that, there's really not much that you're getting about these characters. I think that it was a fine story. I enjoyed it enough, and I definitely could see myself recommending this to some people, but I definitely don't think that it's like the type of book that you're gonna come out with a 5-star. With that being said, we're on day 19. I want to read, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this. Okay, you're first. This is a book title, I'm pretty sure. What does that say? Dark something. Is it dark? Oh, Dark Academia. Would Society of Lies count for this? Do we consider Society of Lies Dark Academia? Because if so, I think I might just finish that up. I am currently 81% through the audiobook for Society of Lies. I am enjoying it. I am intrigued to see what's going on. I do have some complaints. I'm not like in love with the way that this book is set up, and I also feel like it's way too long. The audiobook is 11 hours long. I have been listening to it on 2 times speed, and I am like so done with this book. I just want to take a break from it. I don't want to listen to it anymore, honestly. But I'm gonna finish it.
I don't have access to it any other way, and so I just need to power through. But it's taking a lot out of me, and I don't really care anymore. It feels very standard also for like just a mystery. I don't think there's anything outstanding about it. The writing is good. It is very much dark academia, by the way. It's set up in a way that like it just feels very standard. It feels basic. And I don't particularly have anything about it that I absolutely love. I'm just kind of listening to it because I do want to know what's happening, but I don't like care about anything else. I am almost done with this book, so I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what day 20 is because I want to know. I'm intrigued. I also just, this is my favorite part about the challenge. It's not reading the books, it's figuring out what's on these pieces of paper and then choosing books for it. I dropped it. I've read some like really just mid books, so it's just like, I don't know. I need something, I need a book that I'm so passionate about that like, I need something like that. So we'll see if I end up getting that by the end of this challenge, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. Okay. Okay, what does this say? Christmas themed book. Okay. Iconic. We love that. I have already read 2 Christmas themed books this year that were like horror, mystery. So I don't know what direction I want to take this. I have access to quite a few Christmas themed books. I have the Christmas Guest on ebook through Libby, but I don't know if I wrote that down somewhere on like one of these papers, so I don't want to read that and then it be written down somewhere. I kind of want to lean towards romance. Amazon released like a series of Christmas romance novellas by different authors, so I could potentially read one of those. They're all fairly short, and that would also give me like a physical read because I kind of don't want to listen to an audiobook anymore, which is something I never thought I'd say because audiobooks just, I love consuming them. I'm gonna have to think about this and come back, but I do think that I can find a good Christmas themed book. I also have Let It Snow, which I have it on audiobook, and then I also have the physical book, which I wanted to get to this year. So I didn't know. I'm gonna finish Society of Lies. I'll come back when I finish that. The ending better be so good. It better be so good because I'm powering through this because I want it to be like good. I want there to be this like crazy twist. I fear there might not be, and that makes me a little nervous, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Also, I have to go switch the laundry before my mom gets home, so I'm gonna go do that too. First and foremost, I finished Society of Lies. I didn't love it. I feel like a lot of books recently have just been mid. It's not, and maybe it's me, I don't know, but it just feels like nothing's really capturing my attention. I don't really care. It's just, there's nothing going on. The thing is that a lot of the things in the book come to an end, and they're important in the end, but until then they really aren't important, and it feels just super like ridiculous. I don't know. And there's definitely moments where I feel like this book could have been cut down. There's times where our characters didn't have to do the things that they did. I don't know. Everything was just like, okay. There's definitely people who are going to read this book and they're going to absolutely love it. And then there's people like me who's read it and I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not something that I fully love. And then there's going to be people who absolutely hate it. And I know that's like goes without saying for any book, but this is just one of those books where I feel like there's just gonna be a mix of opinions on it because of the entertainment value alone, because there's nothing else that I really cared about. I'm not gonna say the ending was predictable, but I do feel like if you read a lot of mysteries that you're going to maybe pick up on the ending fairly quickly, maybe. I don't know. For me, I can never really predict endings anyways, so it's not like the end of the world that I didn't predict it, but it's also like kind of ridiculous. I don't know. On the flip side, I did pick up a Christmas themed book. I ended up picking up Cruel Winter with You. This is a novella. It's like 70 something pages. I'm 57% of the way through and I'm enjoying it so far. I actually think I'm enjoying this like quite a bit. I believe my last video, or maybe it was the video before, I'm not exactly sure, but I picked up Below Zero by Ali Hazelwood as well. And I didn't really love that. Maybe it's because I was listening to it on audio, and romance books just, I don't really love them on audio. And I ended up picking up this one and I'm physically reading it, even though I can get the audiobook for this. Apparently I haven't tried. Through this like collection you can get the audio or you can like physically read it. And I am enjoying this. So I definitely think that I enjoyed this one more than Below Zero. Our two main characters are like childhood best friends. They grew up together, and the male main character had like a crush on her throughout like their childhood or whatever. And then one Christmas, it starts out this way and then you kind of get their backstory. She comes to his doorstep, or well, his parents' doorstep, and he's pet sitting for Christmas. He's there by himself, which I don't fully understand like why that's the case. But his sister, who is our female main character's like best friend, his sister and his parents though are on a cruise or a trip or something with his sister's husband. Does that make sense? Are you following? And he's there to watch their cat, and basically she comes over there to get a pan for the ham that her father's cooking. And they ended up like getting snowed in, and that's kind of where I'm at the 50% mark. There is a big chapter, I believe it's chapter 2, where you're just getting like their backstory throughout their childhood growing up, and then you get kind of like high school years and then a little bit of college. Not much, but I feel like it does a good job at giving you information about these characters and furthering the story, which I appreciate, because I want, when I'm reading something like this, I want to feel like these characters actually do know each other, and having that little bit of backstory and that detail about them really kind of honed in on the fact that they've known each other all of their life. I was thinking about this earlier though, and I wanted to mention it because although this is a Christmas romance, we're not getting so much of like the Christmas vibes, like the kind of more like cringy rom-com Christmas type of vibes. It's more so just about these two characters, and they happen to be snowed in, and it happens to be taking place during Christmas. Which I honestly, I don't even think it's Christmas yet in this. It's like Christmas Eve. But yeah, I really do like that, because it doesn't feel like you have to read this during Christmas, or even that it's a Christmas romance in general. It's just like Christmas is in the foreground and it's really just this romance, and I do really appreciate that. I have 30 pages left, so I'm gonna finish that up and I'll catch you on the flip side. I finished Cruel Winter with You. First of all, I don't like that title. I'm gonna keep it real with you. That has nothing to do with this book. I don't know. I didn't really love the title. I mean, it does, but
could have been better. The actual book, it was cute. I think I'd give it like a 3.5 stars or so. My dog's emptying out his entire toy basket. The thing is with this book is that I was enjoying it up until our main character was like, yeah, I have you. This is like kind of the spoiler. It's not that long of a book, so I don't know if I can consider it. I really wish you could have just seen what he did. I really don't know if you can consider it a spoiler because the book is so short. But basically our main character is like, yeah, I have had you as my background for all these years on my phone. I'm like, sir, what? And maybe that's just me, but also I saw some other people talking about it. And I just, I don't know. I didn't love that. He gave a little bit of a stalker vibe, like, for sure, but overall, like, it was cute. It was short. There was nothing that I thought was like terrible about it. It's just, oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm like watching my dog and he's just like, I can't do this right now. Anyways, I wanted to go ahead and get my next book so I can start reading it and we can talk about that and all that stuff. Look at our little stack. Oh my god. It's so tiny. But we're so close. I really don't know what I want. I have nothing that I'm like, yeah, I need to read that. I want to finish books. I don't want to read. Here's this. Can you see it? Is it focused? I hope so. Read a book that has been on your physical TBR the longest. Okay. Okay, I don't have a lot of time to yap about this book, but I wanted to talk about it. So, that's what we're gonna do. I'm giving you very much a spooky story, campfire, ghost story. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to talk about The Mayor Wife. I'm close to the 200 page mark. I'm on chapter 27 of this, and I don't know. I'm not necessarily hating it. I just don't really care either. Why? I need more books to either absolutely despise or absolutely love, and I'm not getting that with the books that I've been reading recently. So in this book we're following primarily two women. Both are mothers, and one of the women lives in like the suburbs and the other one is off the grid and was formerly a soldier, and now she's like off the grid with her son. And this is based off of Beowulf, I think is how you pronounce it. Don't hold me to that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I have no idea what that story is about. And going into this, I went in blind completely about like what this is about as well. And I don't know if I love it. It's very poetic at times, the writing is, and I do really love that. I love a good poetic writing, but that's not what I was prepared for. I will say, coincidentally, this does start out and we're in like Christmas time. It's like New Year's Eve when the book starts, I believe, and that was like really surprising. It just gave that vibe though, and I'm so glad that I ended up picking this up. What else? Maybe it's because I'm listening to the audiobook, but the way that we're like telling the story, it's a little difficult for me to follow at times. I'm very confused. It just doesn't feel cohesive to me, and we really are bouncing all over the place.
and I don't particularly love that, but that might also just be because I'm listening to it on audio. I can say I don't care enough about this book to want to physically read it. I did think about physically reading it earlier and then decided against it. So there's that. I don't know. I don't know where I heard about this book from or why I picked it up. But I really wish, and this is the problem with having older books on my TBR, is that I don't remember, most of the time at least, where I got the recommendation, why I wanted to read it. And because of that, it really sucks, because I want to know why I picked this up. I want to know what about it intrigued me to begin with, where I was like, I need to buy this book, I need to read it. And yeah, so I just don't know. I don't know. Also, I thought that this was gonna be more fantasy. On Goodreads, the top genre is fantasy. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting no fantasy. There's references to the son of the woman that's off grid being unlike other people, but I don't know if she's referring to his skin color or if she's referring to something else. But I'm not getting that. I don't know. Nothing about this is really doing it for me, and I'm just like wrapping it up. Basically, I could have DNF'd this book and I probably would have been perfectly fine with it, but I'm already 60% through, and I'm not a quitter. I'm not gonna quit this. So I'm gonna power through and finish it, and then that'll be a tomorrow objective, because I am super sleepy. It's currently like 1 o'clock. I've been staying up way too late recently, and I need to fix it. So that's what I'm gonna do. But we'll wrap that up tomorrow and finish this book. Bow, bow, bow. Goodbye. Oh, sorry. I have bad news. I am DNFing this. I think I finished up chapter 27 last night, and so I made it to literally like page 200, and I just can't be bothered. I don't know if it's, and this is always my problem with DNFing books, is because I never know if it's my mood or if it's the book. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I will read garbage books. I don't care. But yeah, just sometimes I'm not vibing with a book and I just don't want to read it. And so there my problem is do I DNF this and unhaul it, or do I DNF it and then maybe come back to it at some point? I feel like that's up to a future decision, and for now I'm just going to DNF this and walk away from it, because I'm just not vibing with it right now. There's nothing like wrong with this book, it's just I don't want to read it. And that's that. The writing is, I will say, I wasn't in the mood for the writing, and I oftentimes am not, and maybe that's the reason why, because the writing is so like poetic, and it's very sporadic as well. It's beautiful writing, and now I just think I'm being too harsh. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I know you don't need a reason to DNF a book, but I don't know. I am going to put this down though, and I'm not going to finish it right now. I think what I might do is keep this and pick it up at some point another time, because right now I just don't want to read it. So right now I'm just going to DNF it for now. And we're going to walk away. Day 22. I'm so excited. We're almost done with this, and then I can move on to something else. Here's my little piece of paper. This is very tiny, so I guarantee you this is a book title. So, you shall see it first, maybe, possibly. What does it say? Read for 6 hours today. Okay. This is... I don't know about this one. 6 hours. Okay. I'm a little nervous about this one. 6 hours is a lot for any day of reading. But on top of that, my family and I are taking the day to bake. And so we're going to be baking. And today's just going to be a day filled of a lot going on. So I'm like debating how I want to do this. I have quite a few audiobooks, so I think I'm going to pick up an audiobook first and then we'll go from there. Because I'm not exactly sure what else I want to read, but I can start with an audiobook. I knew this prompt was coming. I just didn't know it was going to be today. The first book that I started was Guillotine. I am currently, give me a second and I'll pull it up. I'm currently almost an hour into this. The dogs are about to start going off because I'm pretty sure my family's home. But quickly, just wanted to update you. I'm enjoying this. I'm eating it up. We're following this woman who, she's trying to be a fashion designer. And so she gets involved with this man whose mom owns this like really popular magazine. And she's like, I'm going to be famous. And they go to this island for this Easter getaway that his family owns. And it's crazy. I love it. But yeah, I'm gonna continue reading that. I'll be done about 2.5 hours in, so I still have quite a bit of reading that I'm gonna have to do in another book. Let's talk about Guillotine. I ate this book up. I loved it so much. I had such a good time with it. I briefly already talked about the like synopsis of it or whatever earlier, but we're following this woman who goes to this island of this guy that she is like, basically she's just dating him to get to his mom because his mom owns a magazine and she's trying to be a fashion designer. Anyways, she goes to this island and then the employees of this island decide to basically retaliate against his family and murder them. I had so much fun with this. The whole time that I'm reading this, I'm just like, that's literally all I did the entire time we're reading this, because every single time that they would murder somebody, I was just like, what is happening? It was such a good book though, and I absolutely loved it, and I'm so glad that I read it. The thing is that there was nothing outstanding about anything besides just the entertainment value of that book was just something that I just really loved, and I was having a really good time with it. So that's Guillotine. And then I finished reading that while I wrapped presents. I am currently at 3 hours and 8 minutes. So I'm doing pretty good so far, but it is also 11 p.m. almost. So that's a little tough, but I'm going to power through and I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to stay up until I get my 3 hours in. So I finished that audiobook and then I started What Kind of Mother. I am currently 15% through that and I'm on chapter 6, and I'm enjoying this so far. It's nothing outstanding. It's kind of reminding me of, what is that book called? I think about this book so often. What is it called? Let me get on Goodreads because I need to look this up. Midnight is the Darkest Hour. That book, it's kind of reminding me of that a little bit, like the town, the fact that we're in a southern town as well. I kind of love books that are set in southern towns, and especially listening to it on an audiobook, because I love the vibe. Even if they're like corrupt towns, there's just something about a southern town that gets to me. Although I didn't love Where the Crawdads Sing, so it doesn't work all the time. But so far I'm enjoying this book. We are following this woman who is a psychic, and so far she ends up teaming up with this guy who is someone that she knows from her childhood. She's moved back to this town. She ends up moving back to this town because her father's dad is like, basically he straightened up his life and he's like, I want to be in my daughter's life. And so she moves back to this town so he can be in their daughter's life. And because of that, she's now like right back where she didn't think that she was going to end up being. And then she comes across this guy named Henry, who's someone that she had kind of like a relationship a little bit with in high school. And then I'm gonna guess that this like kind of rekindled that, but his son disappeared and then his wife ended up dying, and she is now supposedly helping him figure out where his son went, because he wants to know, like, they never even found like a body or anything, and so they're trying to figure that out. And it literally just got to the part where he asked her for help. I don't really have much to say about it because we're really in the beginnings of this book and seeing how it's going to play out, but I don't know. I am in the middle of a chapter, so I think I am going to finish this chapter at least. And then I might shift over to physically reading. It is the next day, but I did in fact finish my 6 hours last night. I got 6 hours and 2 minutes actually in of reading time. And I ended up just continuing to listen to the audiobook, and I was reading along for What Kind of Mother. I finished that up this morning because I wanted to just go ahead and finish it. And that book is kind of crazy, and I completely understand. It has a really low rating on Goodreads, but I think I loved it. I think the like main complaint that people probably have about this book is the fact that it's really slow paced and not a lot is happening at first. And on top of that, we're left with quite a few things unanswered by the end of it. And like the epilogue was really odd. I don't fully understand the ending of the epilogue. So there's that, but I did really love it. It's like so weird, and I don't really love, I can't remember exactly what they said on Goodreads, but like the comp title for it was not what I would say it is. One of the things, I don't know what it is, but where is it? Okay, now I can't find it. It must have been on Libby that I saw it, but I didn't really like the comp title. So here is the new one that I'm giving you. I feel like it's a very interesting mix of Monstrilio and then also kind of the book that I was talking about yesterday that it gave me the vibe of, Midnight is the Darkest Hour. Both of those give the same type of vibe. I don't want to give too much away, but it is so odd and it's so weird, and I loved it. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed this book. Between this book and Guillotine, I'm having a good time reading right now. I will also say that I feel like this book could have been longer, solely because so much stuff went unanswered. We don't know what happened as far as like our female main character. Her situation with her daughter and stuff, I don't understand how that played out. I don't understand like what happened as far as the kid, because I just feel like I don't know, I feel like there's so many things that went unanswered that I can't even talk about because they'd be like spoilers. I feel like this book was really ambitious for the page length, and if it could have been 100 or 150 more pages just so we could get answers, I'd be okay with that, because there's definitely things that I want to know that aren't in the pages. All in all, I really did enjoy this, and after reading both Ghost Eaters, Whisper Down the Lane, and now What Kind of Mother. I think I can tier rank them pretty well, and I think What Kind of Mother is my top favorite, and then Whisper Down the Lane, and then Ghost Eaters. And then he also has another book coming out in January called Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. I'm very excited about that. The cover is so cool. I actually like looked at the cover closer a couple of days ago, and I absolutely love it. So anyways, I finished that, and now I'm gonna open day 23 of our advent calendar, see what's in here. That way I can get to reading. I have a lot of editing that I need to do today, so I'm just gonna see what I can do, because I really wanted to get a video up today, but I didn't end up editing, so it's not going up today. But yeah, hopefully I can just at least edit it. Okay, what does this say? Oh, okay. The Christmas Guest. So I have this on ebook, and I don't know exactly how long this is going to take to read, but I do actually have this, and I've been debating reading this quite a few times for challenges, but I was afraid that I had written it down. So it's 137 pages, which I think is doable for me. I'll probably end up reading quite a bit today and then finish it tomorrow, because like I said, I do have some editing to do. But I'm actually kind of hyped about this because I wanted a physical read, especially because I did complete audio yesterday, which was not the plan, but that's what happened. So I don't know anything about The Christmas Guest. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a Christmas murder mystery. I'm going to guess it's going to be kind of similar to the Christmas Murder Game. I'm not exactly sure, but I'll read it and then let you know. It is officially Christmas Eve and the last day of this challenge. Thank the Lord. I'm ready to be done. I do want to update you quickly before I open the last one on The Christmas Guest. I am currently 30 pages in and I'm enjoying it, but I'm also just really sleepy, and I just keep like not being able to read without falling asleep. And it's not the book's fault, at least I don't think so. I'm enjoying it. So how I understand it is that the book is gonna be following in like this first part. We're reading diary entries from the grandmother, I believe, of our character, because it starts out with her and then she starts to talk about like this diary, and then we're getting basically just diary entries of this grandmother, or this woman, who goes to stay at this house of a college friend. Somehow there's gonna be like a murder mystery type of situation going on. I do know that we got introduced to this part of the story where this woman died and the friend's brother was suspected of killing this woman, and our main character in the diary entries looks like the girl who died. And so that's what we're kind of introduced to. I'm guessing that there's going to be a lot more that plays into the story. I am really enjoying it, and I just want like to know what's going on, but I haven't made it that far into it. So hopefully whatever we get today isn't crazy. I should have known that going into this challenge that the last like week or so was going to be hectic, and I didn't think about that, but I should have, because I've been doing a lot and I just haven't had time to read a lot. And I'm really just trying to do both. So hopefully whatever this is isn't crazy, because we have things that we're doing tonight, and then obviously tomorrow's Christmas. I want to spend it with my family, and so I mean, I'm probably going to end up reading tomorrow, because I don't think I'm going to be able to finish whatever reading I have to do today. But we'll see what this is, and hopefully it's not too bad. Okay. You have got to be kidding me that this is on the last day. This is once again another thing that I forgot that I had. It's a free skip. So the idea was that I would pull this one day and I would have this in my back pocket for when I wanted to skip a challenge. But it's the last day and I don't have a challenge to skip. That could not have been more ridiculous. So there's that. I guess I don't have to read anything more. I just have to finish The Christmas Guest, which is definitely doable. But also that is absolutely ridiculous that that was what I got today. So that is so ridiculous. It is now several weeks later since I finished this video. So let me update you. I did finish The Christmas Guest like the 25th, 26th, somewhere along those lines. So I really enjoyed it. I feel like I say that about every book that I enjoy. I just go, I really enjoyed it, or I really didn't like this. Let me turn this light on so maybe it's a little very orangey now. The way that The Christmas Guest is set up is so interesting to me, and I really love it because the first part you're following this character through diary entries, and I really love that because it shows like her inner thoughts, and it's also written in a way that's very much like, this is a girl that's in college. She just talks about how much she loves this boy, or how much, like, it's just very much in her emotions, and I really love that. And then the second part is following another character, and the way that the stories are tied together is really interesting. It's not an overall like interesting book. It's very much, I wouldn't say predictable, but there's nothing about it that's just like wow. I just really enjoyed reading it, and I think that that alone is good enough, you know? Not every book has to be a significant book that speaks to me emotionally. I just can read books and enjoy them as they are for entertainment, just like you do TV shows or movies or listen to music. You know, it doesn't have to be, wow, this is such like a cinematic masterpiece, you know, that type of vibe. Anyways, that's it. We have successfully finished 24 days of reading, even though it's been a couple weeks, but I am finishing up the editing of this video and getting it up tomorrow. If you watch this video, if you watched any of the videos, if you made it through all of them or just one or none of them at all, if you're not even seeing this, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really had a fun time with this. Will I do this next year? Only time will tell. And my sanity, of course. With that being said, catch you on the flip side. And Happy New Year, because it's actually 2025.